Hi, Max, here to connect, here to inspire, and here to be the change. If you're watching the live, welcome, and if you're watching the replay, welcome as well. Thank you for being here. 3 hours ago today, I did a post regarding the antique Tesla healing devices. At the moment, I've got three small sets and 2 medium sets, so a total of 5 sets. I'll show you where they are that are ready to go. Oh, golly God, I don't know why the screen's gone so... Why is the screen gone? Okay, if I just go like that. Okay, there they are. So I got these 2 small ones available. 2 people are interested, but they haven't struck right now. There's that little one, French one. I've got that one. That's a large, well, that's a medium one. And I've got another one there that's available. So they're the ones that I've shown. Oh, there you go, that's better. So they're the ones that are available right now. So I've got 2. I've got the Sunco, which is the black violet one. I've got a mahogany unit that's more for a woman because it's just more of a boutique item. And I've got a medium to large Sultan. So the Sultan's like sun. I've got the Sunco. It's got the Sunco and Sultan. Look at my post that I made 3 hours ago. 2 small boutique ones, which are good for carry-ons if you're, if you travel around a lot. And I've got 1 small Ixu, which is a French unit. I was asked a good question. Are these devices the same as true Rife technology? Now, true Rife technology is radio audio. There's a lot of fake Rife technology, like Sorry about that. It's my signal. We've had snow here all day today, so the signal's quite choppy. So anyway, I was asked the question, is this like Rife technology? And the answer is yes, it is. It is Rife. It's the same as Rife. It's the same as Lakhovsky, but it's specifically Tesla technology. They're antiques, so they're over 120 years strong. They've been rebuilt, custom rebuilt. Literally, they have 1 year's warranty. The focus of them as antiques is the action of cellular health and metabolism. So and out of those actions, you get 5 actions. 1, you get ozone. They generate ozone. You can read the post. They generate ozone. They work on the lymphatic because you have the different body part electrodes, insulated and external. Things like spinal, mushroom surface, neck thyroid, quarter tissue, double eye, massage roller, spinal. They were working with acupressure points. They were also working with on the spine. 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to start again. So I've got 4 really good antique Tesla high frequency devices. All come with 1 year's warranty. These are the same as true Rife technology in the sense that they're radio and audio frequencies. There's no need to reduce yourself to a diagnosis. They work on all ideas. They work on all ideas pertaining to ideas around what is cellular health, what is metabolism. It's like owning your own kinesiologist. It's really quite cool. I'm interested in what the antique literature was saying. They work on 5 actions. 1, raw ether, energy. 2, lymphatic because of the different body part electrodes. 3, well, actually, is it 4? Ozone, plasma, lymphatic, electrons, lymphatic. So it's 4. It's 4. Your electrons, your photons, which is like your plasma, your ether, your lymphatic, and the ozone for the sterilization. So it's 4 actions. Because the electrons now, from my understanding, comes under the plasma, because it's not really like, what is the electricity? And I think it's just raw ether. They work on the human being as, if you think about the works of Jerry Tennant, the Healing is Voltage, they're working on that kind of, you know, like homeopathic, magnetic therapy. That's kind of really what I think this is. Wireless telegraphy. You get access to the full antique literature, all on high frequency. These are high frequency devices, very simple to use. I ship them globally, so wherever you are in the world, I can ship a machine to you. They come with 1 year's warranty, full support from Zeish, and you can check my pinned post to read other customers' testimonials. If you have any questions, fire them over. Shipping's not a problem. I've been doing this now since the corona. It's all part of a bigger picture connected to things like the synthetic biology. So not only do we look at the A to Z of pathology, we're also looking at the synthetic biology. Part of the reason why I got into this was because of full spectrum dominance, anti-nanotechnology, and really getting into the nuts and bolts of like, what is magnetism, who is Nikola Tesla, who is Lakovsky, what is a Rife machine, and really having to wade through all the new age 5D BS to get to the really pure knowledge and wisdom from some true pioneers. A lot of them have passed away now, true pioneers in that technology. I always say, like, if Tesla was around today, if Wilhelm Reich was around today, if Tesla was around today, what would they be making? And there's a lot of, the new age has hijacked a lot of things. I've never been compelled to buy a modern violet ray because it's modern electronics. And this technology is over 123 years strong. They genuinely don't build things like they used to. And the 4 units I got available at the moment are made in England. And I can't even believe I'm saying it. Like, you can get some tools today that are still Sheffield steel, but most of our steel's left Britain. Most of our engineering's left Britain. So it's a real breath of fresh air to find pure Tesla 1910 patent technology that is made in England. It's like owning an Enfield or a Rolls Royce. They're really up there in that standard. If you've got any questions, fire them over to me. I'm very present. And yeah, all the information about what this is in this documentation on this post that I've written to you today. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to read a small chapter from an original 1919 literature. And if you find this interesting, if you're somebody that is not expecting somebody to save you, you're not expecting Trump to save you, you're not expecting reform to save you, you've kind of, you're not expecting the NHS to save you. If you're somebody that's kind of getting a bit tired of going to see the practitioner, and you're kind of, nothing wrong with practitioners, but it can certainly get to a certain point where you feel like you're giving your energy away and you're reducing yourself to a diagnosis. But if you're at a point where you know that you're not the diagnosis, if you're somebody that's been reading maybe a bit of Louise L. Hay, I Can Heal Myself, or you've been reading you've been a bit inspired by, Wayne Dyer, and you're like, okay, look what these folks did with just simple affirmations, and you're really starting to, maybe start looking at organic food, and you're starting to grow your own food, and you're starting to look at, like, okay, I've given this thing a try, but I'm really now starting to lean into natural medicines, and really starting to look at holistic lifestyle, and maybe changing my bedding, and changing the shoes that I wear, and maybe changing the socks that you wear, and maybe changing the blanket that you lay in, because a lot of people invest a lot of time in our sleep, don't we? And a lot of people don't even think about the beds that they're lying on. And if now you've got to the point where you've kind of got a crux, and you're kind of over the enemy lines when it comes to your food and your natural medicines, and now you're thinking, well, what is this technology? I keep hearing about this Rife technology, this Lakovsky technology, but where do I start with this? And is the modern stuff any good? And maybe you've heard about the TZLA and a lot of these modern technologies like terahertz and PEMF and TENS machines, and you're like, well, what is the good stuff? The Holder Clark zapper, and you're like, is this actually good for me? You know, like, is zeolites really good for you? And the answer is no. Is silica any good for me? And the answer is no. Is C60, is methylene blue? If you're starting to realize that there's a lot of size slops and there's a lot of new age kookiness going around and a lot of smoke and mirrors, and you're just looking to kind of just find something that's enabling you, and I say that word with complete consciousness because I know that they can weaponize the word enable, and resilience. And if you're at that point where you're like, okay, I just want something that's going to keep it simple, stupid. I don't have to waste my time, waste hours, you know, learning all these different frequencies to put into a machine because I've reduced myself to a frequency. And how on earth, you know, the beautiful thing that I love about this technology, it was made in a time before the compartmentalization of the new religion called science, where everything's kind of like conflict of interest, like insider trading. And so when you kind of get to that point where you realize that the technology was made in a time when, you know, can you even believe we're living in a post-truth world? You know, could you ever have believed that this was, you know, I want to be conscious about saying the word believed. Can you even imagine that we're in a time where we're even questioning what is truth? You know, can you even imagine that today we're in an age where we have to discern like what is a true rife technology? You know, and I always fall back on the question, you know, the wondering like why did Rife slip on a bar of soap? Why did Wilhelm Reich slip on a bar of soap? Why did something nefarious happen to 120 holistic doctors not so recently ago? So I really like to look at the antique literature because I'm not making any claims. I'm just reading the literature and going, wow, the super violet ray high frequency generator. How to treat with violet ray high frequency generators. What the violet ray is. The violet ray high frequency current, or as it is more commonly called, the violet ray. Now the reason it's called the violet ray is because there's a certain atmosphere that has been put into the glass tubes that creates the colour violet. If it wasn't 1,000th of an atmosphere, you wouldn't get the violet. You might end up with a red or a blue or a white. So they purposefully, because if you think about it, in those days, everything was done with grand design and engineering. Like they were engineered for success. And all success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So when they made these, they weren't making them so you had to go and buy another one a year later. You know, like think NutriBullet. They were building them like, it was like they were making the Vitamix blender of that time. But if you'd been making a Vitamix blender back in 1919, not only would you have had it for 10 years, but because it was built in 1919, you might still have it today, mightn't you, Kate? You might still have it today. Like a coffee maker, if like, you might have a really good coffee maker today. You might have gone, well, I ain't going to buy one of these cheap coffee makers that's only going to last me maybe a year or two, you know, but I'm going to buy the best coffee maker. Now, you might get a good 10 years out of that coffee maker, but if you bought a coffee maker in 1919, you might still have that coffee maker today. You could certainly say that's true about the cars. You can definitely say that's true about the rifles if you're a hunter. And you can definitely say that about this antique Tesla technology. And I love that. And the tubes that I have in my sets are the original tubes from 1919. Isn't that awesome? With 1,000th of an atmosphere that helps. And that is the reason they're called the violet ray. I digressed a bit. Is a new phase of electricity. The violet ray high frequency current, or as it is more commonly called, the violet ray, is a new phase of electricity. Oh, my apologies, you're in the cafe. You're in Cafe Richmond's Khan. It's a great cafe. But it's only for us. You're not allowed. Go away. So, okay. No one else is allowed for coffee. Only Gordon. Okay, or as it is more commonly called, the violet ray. It's a new phase of electricity. Bear in mind, this was 1919. It is applied to any part of the human body without pain, muscle contraction, or disagreeable sensation of any kind. The electrical oscillations representing the high-frequency current follow each other with such tremendous rapidity that they outspeed our nervous sensibility. Isn't that beautiful? Sense and sensibility. We do not become conscious of their presence. In other words, our nerves are insensitive to the electrical oscillations of the violet ray high-frequency currents. The oscillations are so rapid that they exceed many thousand repetitions per second. So you can only use the machine for 6 minutes. But think about it like this. When you're being present, when you're being focused on your breath and you're being very conscious, guess what? You're playing with 1,000 repetitions per second. So how many thousands of a repetition per second is in 1 minute? Do you see? We're playing with high frequency. This annihilates the whole ideas of time. Maybe back then time was a little bit different. Maybe back then time and the calendar wasn't so much of a time is money. Maybe it was more of a time is art. And so that's where we're to right now with this. The violet ray, you know, when you get these silly, you know, Bitcoin idiots going to you, well, our machine can go all day. It's like, well done. You know, like, how long are you going to get out of that thing? It's not 100 years strong, is it? This is 120 years strong technology. Still here today, restored, reconditioned, screw by screw, with mindset and wisdom. We've probably got over 20, we've probably got over 20, 40, 50, 60, probably got over 70 plus years experience going into this technology that we're bringing to you. And so the oscillations are so rapid that they exceed many thousand repetitions per second. The violet ray high frequency currents are pleasing, and though most stimulating and highly invigorating to the entire system, nerves and muscles cannot record the presence of their great power. What violet ray high frequency currents accomplish? Bear in mind, this is from the literature of 1919. I don't want anyone thinking that I'm making any claims. Can you even believe that back then they could write that, but today, if you were to do that, it would be deemed offensive to billionaires that control the healthcare system. And I like to think of the word system as save yourself time, energy, and money. What is the cost of surrendering your energy to a compartmentalized idiot? That's the question I want to ask you. What is the cost of surrendering your will and testament to a compartmentalized idiot? That's a great question. Violet rays or high frequency currents benefit all living matter. Through the glass vacuum applicator, light, heat, electric energy, and ozone are created. Light, heat, electric energy, and ozone are created. So you've got light, heat, electric energy, and ozone are generated. These forces are uniformly potent in relieving and eliminating human ailments. Violet rays present a remedy upon which we can rely. They are positive and certain in action. They will penetrate where medicine does not and often cannot. And even think about this. Back then, the medicine was like badass, like top G pure and authentic, wasn't it? You knew that you could go to your doctor and he might give you some myrrh, he might give you some frankincense, he might give you some borax, he might give you some bismuth. I see bismuth quite a lot in the old dispensary. He might give you some homeopathy. That stuff was like, he might give you some dandelion and burdock, or some hops, or a bone broth. He spared no expense. He was there, thank you. He was there all in for you as your friend, living under the banner of Hippocrates. If you were in the East, living under the banner of Avicenna. If you were in the Far East, living under the banner of traditional Chinese medicine, Tibetan medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. These folks weren't New Age. They were all in under the banner of God, not government. No conflict of interest, no insider trading. This is what the literature says. This is what I stand with, the truth. This is from a time of truth, not a time of deception, not a time of trickery, not a time of New Age hocus pocus. You know, take my zeolites, use my spooky device, wear my polyester alien t-shirt, and transcend with me to the Ashtar command. None of that stupidity. Badass, dope truth, based on truth. The hip hop of true wisdom and understanding from the days of 1919. I know where my heart stands, in the roaring 20s. You know, a time of great natural foods, natural medicines, strength, health, and beauty. Hence, I'm reading the literature. You cannot say I'm making any claims. I'm just reading what the great physicians of that time were saying, and they said it with great articulation. I love that time. It's amazing. Okay, so I detracted again. They are positive and certain in action. They will penetrate where medicine does not and often cannot, yet they cause no pain, no disagreeable sensation or discomfort. They furnish a soothing relief. They destroy germs and have a strong power over infection. A violet ray high-frequency treatment is the surest method of relieving pain. Applied to the part of the body where the pain is severest, the rays and high-frequency electrical discharge penetrate every cell, tissue, and organ and tranquilize. It's like a food, it's like a tonic to the cells. They build up the forces of nutrition, of nutrition and general health. Violet ray high-frequency currents will stimulate and strengthen the vital organs. Okay, sorry, I lost you for a second. We were at the point of nutrition. Don't you love the way that the 1919 people spoke? Maybe I should start dressing like Dr. Parkenstein. Okay, they build up the forces of nutrition and general health. Violet ray high-frequency currents steady the nerves, spraying thousands of volts of high-frequency electricity into any weak, sluggish, or painful organ or muscle, purifying and causing the flow of warm, rich blood to surge through the treated part, at the same time being painless and pleasant. Violet ray high-frequency treatments need only be tried to be appreciated. Cellular massage. We're almost done. I'll just read cellular massage. If you want me to read why you should use this, we can read that as well. And then tomorrow I'll do another. I'll continue from this. Cellular massage. Every vibration of the violet ray high-frequency current causes the cell of the body to vibrate. The vibration has the effect of a massage, and its frequency is so high that it is intensible to us. Its effect is rapid and powerful. I can tell you a story if you want. It imparts new life to each cell and enables, there you go, they were using the word enable then without any trickery, and it enables it to more readily absorb the nutriment from the bloodstream, thereby building new tissue. In short, it tends to revive and invigorate every bodily tissue by rejuvenating each cell of which it is composed. Okay, and then we're going to finish with this little bit here. Why should use violet rays? And you can get a soothing effect, stimulating tonic and invigoration. And what we'll do tomorrow is we'll go into stimulating treatments, internal antiseptic. And what we'll do tomorrow is we'll go on to why you should use violet rays. Let me know if you're looking forward to that, why you should use violet rays. I have 5 sets available. I can ship them globally. I am in the UK. If you're interested, let me know your currency. You could be Canadian dollars, United States dollars, Australian dollars, New Zealand dollars, Singapore currency, whatever currency you are. You could be euros, whatever. Just let me know. I'll get you the correct pricing. Have a look at my post that I did over 3 hours ago below here. You can have a look at the machines that are available. We've got the Sunco, which is the violet one. Then there's 2 orange ones. I got the nice ladies. I think that is a Sunco as well, which is kind of similar to the Atlas, but it's European. I've also got the Sultan Deluxe, and I've got a baby XU, a little French one. And yeah, just DM me if you're interested. And I think most of them will probably be gone by the 14th. So it is a matter of striking while the iron's hot. If you have a specific request, maybe you want a little handheld one, maybe you want a large one, you're a practitioner, or you want every electrode, because you go from 5 electrode sets to like 18 electrode sets, 10 electrode sets, and then to full-blown 24 plus electrode sets. Do ask me what's available, because some of the things that I have are sold before they even hit the market, me being here right now. So before you even see it on the YouTube, because maybe the day that it comes up on the YouTube, we're already having discussions in the Telegram group, or maybe we're having discussions behind the scenes. Somebody's putting a request for a specific machine from the Dutch School of High Frequency. You might want one of those. You might go, Zish, talk to me about this Atlas. Talk to me about the Anapol. Talk to me about this Osino-san that you've got going on behind the scenes. I'd like to know about that. I want first dibs on it before anybody else gets to see it. I'd like to learn about this 24 electrode Felmer that you have from Leipzig, Germany, 1919. I've got a couple of those incoming. So if there's something you want a little bit special, a little bit personalized to you, DM me. This is like one of my multiple streams of income. DM me. God is in the details. Let's get into the details of why you want this, what you would like it for, you know, a little bit of what you're looking for. You know, I'd like a little set that I can travel with. Oh, I'm looking at doing some energetic work with this. Oh, I'm looking at doing X, Y, Z, and we'll find you the right machine for you, because every set is individual. They're analog machines. I could have 5 of the same machines, all there together, all the same name, all the same electrodes, and each individual machine will be uniquely different because they're analog. Something very important to think about today in this age of the PSYOP called digital. And on that note, make it a great day. From my heart to yours, Zish. Bye for now. Speak to you tomorrow.